Hey guys, Neely here. I'm coming in for a chatty vlog today. I wanted to talk to you guys about my plans for dieting in the new year, something like that. All that encompasses. Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I've been kind of on a mission to get rid of baby weight from my last baby, which was now 17 months ago. I did finally get back to pre-pregnancy weight in the summer, and then I still have about 10 pounds to get back to pre-pregnancy weight from the babies before that. But I have been working really hard to just do what I can do to get my body healthy and to get everything balanced and working right, and kind of see how weight loss will kind of happen via getting healthy. And I feel like for the past year, about year and a half actually, I have been working really hard on that. You guys that have followed me for a while know that I worked on my adrenal fatigue and my blood sugar issues. And then in October, I did the Whole30 and really worked on cutting down inflammation and learning more about what foods work for my body and which don't. And then since I finished up the Whole30 in October, and then I went through most of November doing a very similar thing to the Whole30. So towards the end of November, I started adding stuff back in, especially at Thanksgiving. I've really added everything back in that is taken out on the Whole30. I've had treats, I've had sugar, I've even had a little bit of wheat. I've introduced rice, different dairy, and basically for me, I do not have immediate reactions to things. For some people, they'll eat, a grain or a dairy or whatever, and then immediately or the next day, they just feel awful. I really don't have that, and that is a blessing, of course, but at the same time, it's also very difficult to find out what works well for my body, because I'll eat something and I'll be like, I feel fine, so I'm gonna eat that again tomorrow. The thing is though, after about a month of eating those things, especially dairy, I think, I start to slowly see things crop up. For example, I'll see acne crop up, which I have started seeing again. It went away completely during my Whole30, and then I started seeing it a little bit coming back. And then also my fasting blood sugar. I test my fasting blood sugar every once in a while when I'm curious. And for a while, when I start adding in different foods, my blood sugar will be fine. I'll handle things really well. And then just slowly, the number will start getting a little higher. It'll get out of the 80s and I'll creep into the 90s. It's just not where I want to be. I want to be definitely in the 80s for my fasting blood sugar, and so I see that as a sign that I need to cut some things back out. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've had a lot of treats recently, and I've been eating very moderately. I used to not be the kind of person that could eat moderately. I thought I was an abstainer personality type, where I needed to completely abstain from things or else I would lose control. But I have found that once I've gotten my hormones figured out and figured out kind of what causes me inflammation and what doesn't, all that stuff, and getting out of the diet mentality, I found that I actually can moderate my food, and I can eat, one bite of something or 3 bites of something and be totally fine and not let it send me over the rails. So I'm not in a terrible place right now. It's not like I'm just going crazy and out of control. I have a very healthy base of a diet, and then I have been indulging in just things that are holiday treats and stuff like that, and having a truffle or two with the kids that we've been making. You've seen my videos on that. This past week I did a few videos on our truffles. So things like that. I haven't been going nuts with like wheat especially, or refined like white flour, but I will have like a sample, like if there's a sample at the grocery store and it's something with wheat, if it's, something that looks really good, I will try it, but I don't have that on a regular basis. I also have been having more cheese in different things, not a ton, but just more than I was definitely on the Whole30, because cheese is completely out on the Whole30. So I have been thinking about what I want to do for the new year. I didn't want to try to start any kind of diet or change anything right in the middle of the holidays. I feel like I am at a place where I'm maintaining my weight. I'm definitely not losing weight the way I'm eating right now, but I am maintaining my weight. So I'm not in a hurry. It used to be when I was dieting a lot and had more severe body image issues that I would be very desperate and I'd feel like I have to start right now, even though it's the middle of the holidays, and I have to, you know, do something super strict or I'd be out of control. It was either I was doing something super strict or out of control. And I really have put that behind me, I feel like. And so I'm at a place where I'm maintaining and I don't feel like I'm doing severe damage to my body. I am eating things that are more inflammatory to me, but my body is in a healthy place where it can handle that for a little while, and so that's why I'm not in a rush. So for the past several weeks, I have been thinking about what I want to do in January because I do want to clean things up a little bit more, because I know if I keep eating foods that are more inflammatory, eventually it will really start to catch up to me, and I just want to kind of have a period of cleaning things out and getting my body back to zero. I feel like the way that I am gonna live for the foreseeable future is kind of what they talk about in Food Freedom Forever, the new Whole 30 book by Melissa Hartwig. I shared about that a while back, but she talks about how you can kind of have a pattern to your life of doing a reset, which they recommend, of course, doing the Whole 30 as your reset, and then you kind of slowly go back into real life, and they recognize that you will probably start slipping back into less healthy patterns, and then after that you go back to your reset, and you do that for however long it takes to get you back on track, and then you kind of go back into living normally, and eventually the time between needing a reset gets bigger because you learn how to live moderately, that kind of thing. I will put a link down to that book below. I definitely recommend it if food freedom is something you are in need of. But I feel like that's kind of the lifestyle I'm going towards right now, and so I did my reset back in October and part of November, and then now I've had the holidays where I'm eating more less healthy foods, and I am getting to the point where I'm ready to go back onto another reset. And so I've just been brainstorming about what it is I want to do. Obviously, my first thought is maybe I should do another Whole 30, but the problem with that is that I feel like I've done enough elimination diets and Whole 30s to know the kind of foods that work well for me and the kind of foods that don't. And so if I went back on a Whole 30, I would probably be cutting out some things that actually are fine for my body, and it just seems unnecessary. The whole point of the Whole 30 and those kind of elimination diets that I've done before is to learn about what works for your body, and then you use that moving forward in your regular life. So I don't want to go back to that very strict Whole 30 diet unless I absolutely have to learn something else. I feel like I want to experiment with what I have found that works well for my body and cutting out what doesn't. So for me, and this is completely based on my own experience and my own history of what I feel like works well for my body and what doesn't work well for my body. So I'm not sharing any of this information to get any of you to follow exactly what I'm doing, but just to show you kind of how I'm building my own diet based on my own body. If you're familiar with Whole 30, this will help you understand kind of what I'm doing. Basically, what I've decided to make as my reset is Whole 30 approved foods, plus I'm allowing myself beans, which I have never experienced a problem from, and I think they're a super healthy food as long as you tolerate them well, and I feel like I do. So that was one of the things where it's like, I feel like I'd just be cutting out something unnecessarily when it's super cheap and it's super healthy and I seem to tolerate it really well. So all the Whole 30 foods, plus beans, plus quinoa. I haven't had quinoa in quite a while, so I will watch myself when I have it for the first time, see if I have any kind of reaction, but I've never noticed any kind of reaction from it. I'm also going to include stevia. I have gone off stevia several times for multiple months at a time, and when I add it back in, I never feel like it causes a problem for me. And when I add it back in, it allows me to consume other healthy foods that I wouldn't normally consume a lot of. Like I make my Good Girl Moonshine that has fresh ginger juice and apple cider vinegar and cinnamon in it. And it's all super healthy foods that I would not consume in that amount if I didn't have the stevia with it. Also, cream and butter are the two dairy items that I have never noticed an issue with. So I'm gonna allow myself to continue to have those. On my last Whole30, I made a bunch of clarified butter, and it just was a lot of work. And it seemed silly because I was really certain that I don't have a problem with butter, and to save myself the work, I'm just gonna keep the butter in. If I ever notice that I'm having a problem with it, I will cut it out, of course, but I'm fairly certain that cream and butter are both fine for me. I'm also gonna be including whey protein powder, and that's another one that I will watch my reactions to, and if it does seem like it's causing me any problems, I'll try cutting it out, but I wanna be able to have some of the THM style shakes, and the whey protein powder makes those taste really good. I'm also gonna be allowing myself to have 85% dark chocolate. Having a little square of that with some almonds is super satisfying to me, and I think chocolate is healthy for the body and the mind and the entire being. So that is kind of an overview of the types of food I'm going to be eating. But I also am going to be tweaking my meals and my meal timing and food amounts because I do want to lose more weight. I think the Whole30 is an incredible diet to help people get healthy. And a lot of times through getting healthy, people lose weight. And that's definitely where you should start if you're coming from a standard American diet or from health issues, blood sugar issues, all that kind of stuff. Definitely start with a diet that allows you to get healthy and kind of see where your body takes you. Because if you have a lot of weight to lose and your body starts getting healthy, one of the things that it will do naturally is release extra fat that it doesn't need. But I feel like for me, I have been doing that for the last year and a half since I had Renee, and I feel like I've done a really good job of taking all the steps to address all of my deficiencies. I got my blood tests and I found out that I was deficient in zinc and a few other things. I found out about my adrenal fatigue. I worked on that. I got my blood sugar issues under control, and that did allow me to lose about 10 pounds. I was super thrilled with that, but I still have a ways to go as far as where I want to get for my goal. I feel like my body is really healthy right now, and honestly, if I were to stay the size that I am now forever, if my body doesn't want to go lower, I will be okay with that. So the weight that I want to lose is primarily vanity weight. My health may improve some, but I feel like I'm in a really good, healthy place as I am now. So now I'm just at the place where I'm just going to play with my diet and do different tweaks and see what will produce fat loss for me beyond just the fat loss that I got from getting healthy. So I already told you about the types of food I'm going to be eating, but I'm also going to be incorporating the approach of cycling my diet that Jade Teta talks about in his book Lose Weight Here. It's this one. I've talked about this one before, and I will put a link to my video on this book up here in the cards. Basically, his approach involves a cycling where you do 2 weeks of eat less, exercise less, and then 2 weeks of eat more, exercise more. And the idea behind that is that it takes your body about 2 weeks to start getting into metabolic compensation, where if you cut your calories and you increase your activity, at first your body responds by losing weight, but then it starts to push back after that. And you start getting hungrier, you start getting more cravings, your energy goes down, and your body is just trying really hard to get all of that fat back that it just lost because it's afraid it's starving. So with his approach, you do the 2 weeks of eat less as well as exercising less, just focusing on walking and maybe a little weight training. And that allows you to lose fat, but then before your body goes into the compensation mode, the metabolic compensation, you up your calories and you also up your exercise so that you continue to burn the calories. It's not like you're going into excess where you're eating more calories than you're burning. You just up your calories and up your exercise, and that signals to your body that you're not in starvation mode, and it keeps you from going into metabolic compensation. So in the book, he gives a formula for your body type that you plug in, like your weight and your height and different things, and it'll tell you an amount of calories and a breakdown of macronutrients for your eat less, exercise less period and your eat more, exercise more period. So you need the book to kind of figure that out. For me, I figured it out, and my eat less, exercise less period is going to be about 1,200 calories, and then my eat more, exercise more period is about 2,300 calories. So if you look at just the eat less, exercise less portion, it's very low calorie, and I would be the first one to say that's too low calorie if it was going to be indefinite. But the whole idea is that you're at that low calorie for only 2 weeks, and then you bump up your calories. So if you look at the whole month of eating, your average calories are going to be somewhere around 1,800, which is a perfectly healthy amount of calories. So also Jade Teta talks about something that's familiar to those of you that are on the THM diet. He is a believer also in separating fats and carbs in different meals. So his meal templates for his program are completely compatible with THM. And so if you are on THM, I wanted to kind of translate what the meal templates are going to look like. If you're not on THM and you're not familiar with that program, you probably won't understand this THM talk. So just ignore this part. This is just for my THM sisters. Dr. Teta does not recommend counting calories unless you are stuck and you absolutely feel like you have to, or if you just really enjoy numbers. It's very similar to THM. He just gives meal templates, and then if you follow those, you should be in the calorie target range. Basically, for the eat less, exercise less portion of the diet, you eat 2 meals, breakfast and lunch, which are either fuel pull meals or very light S meals. And then your dinner is going to be an E meal. So it's a very low fat meal with a serving of starch. And for the breakfast and lunch meals, he recommends either a protein shake, which would be similar to the shakes that, the fuel pull shakes that THM offers. I will definitely be using those recipes because I think THM is amazing with fuel pull recipes. So I'm going to be using like the fat stripping frappa recipe and all like the thin thicks from the THM cookbook. Definitely using those, as well as recipes like glucose pudding. Jade Teta is also a very big promoter of glucomannan. So the glucose puddings and the different shakes from THM that have the glucomannan in them are perfect for the Lose Weight Here program. So like I was saying, for the breakfast and lunch, he recommends either a protein shake like the ones from THM or a meal that's basically just lean protein and veggies. And then for dinner, which would be the E meal, he recommends a lean protein with veggies and then a serving of starch. He also recommends not snacking unless you have to. If you are truly getting hungry between meals, you can do snacks, but he does like to see people get to a place where they can only eat 3 meals a day. So that gives you an idea of the eat less, exercise less portion of the diet. I will do more info on the eat more, exercise more portion when I get there, which will probably be towards the middle of January. But real basically, you up your calories to whatever the formula tells you. For me, it's around 2,300. And then you add in some HIIT training and some cardio if you want to. So as far as exercise, I'm going to continue with my walking, which I have been getting very consistent at. Actually, this January will be an entire year where I've gotten 10,000 steps almost every day. I'm really happy that I have worked on that habit, and so now I'm able to get in my steps without it being too painful. So I'm going to definitely keep up with that. And then for the eat less, exercise less portion, I'm going to be doing my PiYo workouts, and that is a Beachbody program that's a cross between yoga and Pilates. That's done by Chalene Johnson, and I really love that program. And it's a body weight program, so it's it's not weight training, but it's body weight training without a lot of cardio, which is what you want to avoid on the eat less, exercise less portion of the diet. So anyway, that is how I am going to build my own diet. I feel like I'm taking the reins a little bit and venturing off on my own, not just going by the book of the Whole30 or THM or any other program. I feel like I've done a lot of those kind of programs, and I've learned from almost every single one of them. And now I'm ready to kind of try and do what I think might be the best for my body, and I'm ready to test it out and see how it goes. So on my channel, I want to do like a weekly check-in as far as diet goes and to let you know how I'm doing, like weigh in, that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think of a clever name for it. Just So Trish is a channel that I follow, and she does Wellness Wednesdays, and I think that is a really cute name. But I'm trying to think of just something different. I don't want to do, I mean, I thought Weight Loss Wednesday or weekly weight loss something, but I cannot think of anything. So if you can think of anything, put it down in the comments below. Let me know. I'll keep thinking on it, and we'll see. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for following along. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Let me know if you're planning on doing any kind of diet change in the new year. I'd love to hear about what you guys have going on. I hope you guys are doing great. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.